Hi friends, this is Wani and welcome to Wani's house. Well, today is the first day of December, but when you see it, it will be the second day of December. And I thought it would be a great time to share Wani's Christmas tale. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you one of my most memorable Christmases, and it happens to do with the Christmas tree. So sit back, because you guys know how sometimes I can be very descriptive and very wordy, but I think you guys are going to enjoy this story and its ending. So as you see behind me, I have this beautiful lush Christmas tree, and it was a family tradition when I lived in Los Angeles to go to my husband's uncle's Christmas tree lot. And so if you're in Los Angeles, you might remember him. His name was Bud. Everyone called him Uncle Bud, and he was the Christmas tree king. He had this Christmas tree lot that was on the corner of King and I can't remember. It may have been King and Western or something like that. I'm not sure if they go east and west or they go in the same direction. I can't remember now, but it was on the corner of King and something. And he had this lot there for over 30 years. So every Christmas, you know, everyone from that area and surroundings would come to his tree lot and get their trees. So every year we would go to his Christmas tree lot. It would be like all of his family would always go and get their Christmas tree from Uncle Bud's tree lot. And my sister-in-law would go, both of my sister-in-laws, actually all three of my sister-in-laws would go to his lot and pick out the trees. And Uncle Bud used to always say, "You girls always want the biggest tree. Y'all got to start paying me some money." So of course he would always say, "You girls come and get the trees for the babies, and you know, I'll take care of you." And so we go, my Derek and my daughter, and we will all go to his lot and we'll pick out a tree. So of course I always picked out the biggest tree on the lot. I would always make it a point to try to get there before my sister-in-laws got there, and you know, and try to find the biggest tree that I could find. Now at the time, we lived in an apartment in Los Angeles, and so the ceilings weren't really high. They were probably the average height ceiling, I guess, in an apartment. And because we had people who lived on the top of us, so you know, the ceilings weren't really high. And so, but that still did not stop me from wanting the largest trees. And so one particular time we all went, and Mr. B would always get upset because he always had to get the tree on the truck, on the truck, and then get it to the house and then lug it upstairs. And I never forget one Christmas he was like, "I don't understand why we need such a big tree anyway. We don't need a big tree like this." I'm like, "Yes we do, this is what I want." And so we got the tree in the house, and guys, it was too big. I couldn't even stand it up. I had to cut down the tip of the tree maybe about 6 or 7 inches just so that I can have it stand upright, and it left a print still in the ceiling, so I couldn't even put a topper on there, and I refused to cut it down anymore. And of course that fueled his fire about how big the tree was. But that was such a beautiful tree. It was really tall and it was really wide, and the branches, they were just flowing out, and it was really thick, and there weren't a lot of holes in it. Oh my goodness. And the bottom of it, the stump of the tree, was simply perfect, that when I sat it into the tree stand, it just stood up right. It was like at attention. It was the most beautifulest tree I had ever seen. And once I put all my decorations on it, it was really incredible. So here we go. All these years we had been together, probably about 2 or 3 years, and we went through the same thing every year. Derek would complain about the trees or whatever. So this particular year, I'm like, Derek, we need to go to Uncle Bud's to get the tree. And he was like, well, we're gonna go. And you know, he kept putting it off because once again, he didn't want to do that chore. And I said, well, you know, if you don't go, I'm gonna go. And he was like, well, no, you know, I'm gonna go. Because every time we would go, Uncle Bud, you know, he would hear him say, why do we have to get such a big tree? It don't make no sense. Uncle Bud said, let the lady get what she want. That's what she want, get her what she wants, of course, you know. And so Uncle Bud would give us these trees that may have been, he was probably selling for like $70, $80 or whatever, and he'll let us have for like $5 or $10. And because that's why he would always say we were breaking him, you know. And so when this particular Christmas comes, Derek did not want to go and get the tree. He didn't want it. He kept putting it off. And I was like, well, if you don't go, I'm just gonna go. And he was like, well, no, I'm gonna go after I get off work. And I was like, okay, Derek, you know the type of tree that I want. And he says, oh, baby, I know the type of tree you want. You want a big tree or whatever. I said, yes, I want a big full tree. Make sure it doesn't have any holes. Make sure that all of the branches are really, really full and that is really plush. And I wanted it flocked. So to flock a tree at the time, they charged extra for it or whatever. And so Uncle Bud was gonna charge maybe like $2 or $3 for him to flock the tree or whatever. And so I wanted the tree flocked. And Derek was like, oh my goodness, all of that stuff is gonna get all over my car or whatever. I'm like, put something over it. Just give me my tree, please. So he was like, okay. He called me. He's like, okay, babe, when I get off work today, I'm gonna go get the tree. So we went over everything that he knew that I wanted. I wanted a big tree. I wanted it wide, and you know, all of the other stuff. I wanted to make sure the stump was straight because I wanted to stand to attention. And so we're all excited. So at this time, Mr. B and I, we weren't married. And so I lived with my sister, and we also had one of her friends who was staying with us. So it was like three of us in this apartment. And we're like, okay, we're getting a tree today. So I've rearranged all the furniture because in my mind, I knew that this tree was gonna be massive. Oh my goodness. And I mean, I was really dreaming about, oh, it's gonna be so big and I'm gonna have the presents all around here and it's just gonna be beautiful. So he calls me and he says, babe, I'm down the street. I'll be there in a minute. And I'm like, cool. So I'm saying to him, do you need us to come down and help you? He said, no. Well, that should have been clue number one that something about this was wrong, because all the other times when we purchased the tree and we brought a tree home, it took at least 3 of us to get it off the car, down through the garage, because the apartment on top of the units, the garage was at the bottom, and the apartments was on top of the garage. So you had to come through the door, come up the stairs, and you're in the courtyard area and get it into the apartment. But he was like, no, I'm good. I don't need your help. Okay, but that really should have been like a red light number 1. So we hear the garage door go up, and we're like, oh, Derek. So everybody rushes out the house and goes into the courtyard and stands. There was like a back entrance and a front entrance, but we figured he wouldn't come through the front stairs because it would have been too hard of a turn to bring the tree up, through the door and make this sharp right and go up the stairs by himself. So we were like, okay, well, he's more than likely gonna come through the back and because that when you came out that way in the garage, it was like this patio area and then the steps, and then you could walk up, but then you had like this little breezeway that goes into the courtyard. So we're standing at the entrance of the breezeway, so when he comes through, we can run and help him, you know, pull this tree up the stairs and through the breezeway. Well, Mr. B comes through the back, up the stairs, and he is walking with my tree in one hand, swinging it. What is that? It's the tree. Oh my, I know doggone well that's not my tree. Derek, where's my tree? What's wrong with this tree? Where is my tree? Guys, this tree was the ugliest tree I have ever seen. Oh my, it looked worse than Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. It was so skinny. It didn't have that many branches, and it was simply awesome. It was awful. It was awful. And I was like, I know doggone well, Uncle Bud, you did not pay Uncle Bud no money for this tree. I know he gave you this tree, right? I said, because he had, matter of fact, he paid you to take this tree off the lot. Did you find this tree on the side of the road? So my sister and my roommate and my daughter are all laughing because they know I was just like totally pissed because I am like so over the top about the tree. And he says, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with this tree. I said, that tree is so ugly. He said, this is an expensive tree. Oh, I know that you did not pay any money for that tree. And so my roommate says, well, at least you have a tree. Some people don't have a tree. Well, let me know what they are, because they can have this one, because I'm not gonna put this tree up. So to make this story, you know, sure, I was just really not happy with this tree. And my roommate, she was like, you know what, you were really hard on him. He went out and got you this tree and whatever. It wasn't a tall tree. It was probably, I'm 5'3". It may have been 5'4", maybe. And it was pitiful. It was just a sorry tree. And to make it all worse, it kind of leaned to the side. The more things I put on it, the more it leaned to the side. I went to like Home Depot to get more of the limbs to kind of put it in to kind of fluff it up. I bought some other types of filler to try to fill it in. And like I said, the more I put on it, the more it leaned to the side. And I kept it because they said I was so hard on him about that tree. And I was, guys, I was pissed. And so, you know, usually I would just enjoy the tree after the holidays or whatever, because the Christmas altogether was really good. We had a lot of fun. It was one of the most memorable Christmases my daughter remembers. You know, but she also remembers that tree and how ugly it was. But I could not wait to get that ugly thing out of my living room. Guys, I wish I had a picture, because it was just so ugly. It was ridiculous how ugly this tree was. So when I got the tree, matter of fact, on Christmas, I took the tree down on Christmas and took it downstairs and put it by the dumpster. So all the trees, there was a service that would come by after the holidays, and they would pick up all of the trees. So my tree was the first tree probably out there, and then I saw a couple of my neighbors put their trees out there also. So later on that evening, my daughter's outside with her friends, and it was all on the back patio down where the dumpster was, and they were playing. And so my daughter came back and she said, Mom, they were talking about that tree so bad, the kids were. And I was like, really? And so Mr. D was there when she said it. She goes, they were like, whose ugly tree is that? And my daughter's like, I don't know whose tree that is. Our tree not like that. And they was like, oh my God, that's an ugly tree. And the kids started throwing rocks at the tree. Guys, if I tell you guys, this tree was so ugly. And Mr. D is constantly saying, but that was a nice tree. That was a nice tree. You know what, guys? After that, I ain't send him nowhere else. He not allowed to go no time with me to go look for no live trees. Our tree that we have now is an artificial tree. I had it now maybe about 5 years, and I love it. I mean, I don't have to deal with the thorns and all the needles falling out, even though it's about time because it's starting to shed a little bit. But I absolutely love the fullness of this tree. And when we moved here and Uncle Bud passed away, our first Christmas, we did not have a tree because I could not bear, and my husband could not bear going anywhere else to buy our Christmas tree but at Uncle Bud's parking tree lot. And so, but about 2 years afterwards, we bought our first tree from like a retailer or whatever. And that tree, I went with him to get it because he was going to use his muscles once again, and I found the biggest, the tallest, the widest tree that I could find, and he put it on the car and he lugged it with 2 other people up the stairs. So I just, every time I tell this story, I am tickled because now I can laugh about it, but I was so hot about it then. Oh my goodness. I'm like, you almost ruined Christmas with this ugly tree. It just did not matter. And I really felt like he was Charlie Brown and I was Lucy, but I was worse. So guys, I wanted to make sure I told you guys this story. I have more stories that you would hear over the course of the next couple of weeks about different things, different traditions and things that we did, and different funny situations that happen around the holidays, and some lessons learned in a tale. But Wani has some tales because I know sometimes I may tend to be over the top, especially when it comes around the holidays. Holidays are very, very important to me, and holidays for me growing up were always big, and I think that's why I tend to do, you know, a lot of things that I do like really big and over the top. But you know, it's all that made me into the person that I am now, and you know, and I like, you know, doing what I do. And now regarding my special announcement. So beginning on December the 12th, I am going to have the 12 days of Christmas. During this time, you will see some DIYs. I'll have some cooking videos. I might have some more Wani's Tales, as well as I will showcase to you some of the rooms that I have decorated. One room that I have still not tackled completely, and I was hoping to have it done, is my bedroom, but I got stopped down here, and yeah, but it is slowly, very, very slowly coming along. But I wanted to share, I'm going to share with you the areas down here, and as well as my powder room and what I've done in there. And I think I may take you into my master bathroom as well, and possibly my guest room. So we'll see about that. But stay tuned, and so until December the 12th, and that will begin my series, and it will end with entire house tour, and you will be able to see where and how I use the DIYs that I've created. And I will also have a video on gift ideas, very expensive, unique gift ideas. So guys, I am going to end this video right here. I look forward to seeing you next week with another video, and then we will begin the Christmas series coming up with the 12 days of Christmas. So guys, I'm gonna leave you right now, but you know what I always say, the next time you're in town, you can always stop by Wani's house. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.